This girl that has been bullying me thinks we're friends. So this girl explains that she's known another girl for a few years. Let's call her Jess. But here's the weird part. Jess never actually interacted with her at first. Then suddenly, she started showing up everywhere, and not in a friendly way. Jess constantly throws insults at her whenever she gets the chance. Not physical bullying, but constant comments. Whispers, little jabs that happen almost every day. And the worst part? They share most of their classes together. Wherever she sits, Jess follows. Literally. If someone else sits next to her first, Jess will sometimes tell them to move so she can sit there instead. Eventually, people in the class stopped sitting next to her altogether, because everyone knows Jess will take that seat anyway. Then there are group assignments. Jess always makes sure they end up as partners. And since nobody else wants to get involved in the awkward situation, it always ends up being the two of them. On top of that, Jess texts her constantly. Almost every day. Sometimes the messages are just weird, sometimes they're straight up mean. But if she ignores the texts, Jess gets even more annoying the next day. So eventually she just started replying just to keep the peace. At this point, she basically feels like she can't escape this girl. Every class, every day, every notification on her phone, Jess is there. Then something happened that made the entire situation even more confusing. One day in class, Jess got called on by the teacher to answer a question. She didn't know the answer. Instead of asking for help or admitting she didn't know, she kept glancing over like she expected the narrator to somehow save her. When she couldn't answer in time, she leaned over and whispered, "Dumb fuck," which made absolutely no sense, because it wasn't even her fault. So at this point, the narrator is convinced Jess just genuinely hates her. Until 2 days ago. Out of nowhere, Jess invited her to karaoke, just the two of them. Obviously, she had no intention of going, but Jess literally waited for her last class to end, grabbed her, and dragged her to a karaoke place nearby. Confused, she finally asked why Jess suddenly wanted to hang out, and Jess looked at her like she was the stupid one. Apparently, it was Jess's birthday, and Jess said she didn't plan anything big. She just wanted to spend time with someone she was close with. That's when it hit her like a truck. Jess genuinely thought they were close friends. After years of insults, weird texts, and constant harassment, Jess thought this whole thing was friendship. The strangest part? Once they were actually hanging out, things weren't awkward at all. They sang karaoke, they ate snacks, they talked. Jess was still a little mean here and there, but it didn't feel hostile anymore. In fact, she realized something weird. She actually had a good time. Now things are even more confusing because Jess recently invited her to a sleepover, and somehow she couldn't bring herself to say no. Right now she's literally standing in a store, trying to figure out what kind of late birthday gift to buy for the girl she thought was her bully.